Tracking calories is the most reliable way to lose weight, but it can be really hard. But it doesn't have to be. Here is how to make it easy. Hi, I'm Dr. Chris Masterjohn of chrismasterjohnphd.com, and you're watching Chris Masterjohn Lite, where the name of the game is Details Schmeetails. Just tell me what works. And this is how I use MyFitnessPal to track my calories when I want to lose weight. It's never going to be as easy as not tracking your calories, but it makes it as easy as it can be. So, first of all, you need to do two things before you get started. Number one, buy a food scale. There are some things that are easily packable, like a cup of flour where you can measure the volume instead of the weight. But if it's something like a steak or a potato or a banana or most foods, you really want to measure in grams or ounces. Second of all, you need to download MyFitnessPal from the App Store of your smartphone and set up your account. It's not that hard. It'll ask you some questions about your goals and your body weight. You can put whatever in for those. I don't utilize MyFitnessPal's recommendations, and I don't use it for exercise tracking. I only use it to track my calories and my macros, my protein, fat, and carbs. Once you have MyFitnessPal set up, from the home screen, click on Diary. That'll bring you to where you add your foods. Now, if you've already set this up and started using it, tracking foods becomes really easy, really fast. And that's because if you tend to eat similar things, then you can just add with a single swipe what you've eaten in the past. So for breakfast, it says add yesterday's breakfast, swipe right. If I swipe right, it'll add exactly what I ate yesterday. Now, maybe I ate similar to yesterday, but not exactly the same. If my Honeycrisp apple today was 185 grams instead of 196, I just go and edit the amount. You can also edit how you're measuring it, so you can click on ounces to measure it in ounces. And if you didn't eat that food, you can just swipe left to delete it from the menu. Or maybe you ate something instead of the apple, you can add the food. When you go to adding the food, it'll show you your recent foods. You can also click on your frequent foods, the foods that you've created because they're not in their database, the meals you've created, or the recipes you've created. The easiest way to add a food is with the barcode scanner. And many foods, even that aren't packaged crap, actually have barcodes. So for example, let's say I have some bananas and I want to get those exact bananas. I click on the barcode scanner and I put the barcode up to it, and immediately it recognizes the bananas. Now, truth be told, while I was not recording this, I had to straighten out the crinkled barcode, but as long as the barcode is easily readable, then this works great. One of the more complicated things you'll need to learn how to do is make your own recipe. If you're going out to eat at a popular restaurant, a mixed meal from that restaurant will probably be in the database. Similarly, if you're using a meal prep outfit that's popular, same thing. But if you're making food from scratch, or you're going to local restaurants or really small meal prep outfits, you're going to need to create the recipe yourself. I find that if you're making your own recipes, it's really helpful to make them in batches that can be reheated over time. That makes it easier not only because it saves on cooking and preparing time for you, but it also saves on the time measuring individual ingredients to track your calories. The way that I do that is I go to More on the bottom right, and then Meals, Recipes, and Foods, and create a recipe. If the recipe's on the web, you can just add it from the URL, but I usually enter my ingredients manually. Give it a name that you'll remember, and if needed, use a date. You can see that mine are usually lentils, rice, and potatoes with a particular date, and that's because I make things with lentils, rice, and potatoes a lot. So I've named mine lentils, rice, and potatoes and given it the date. I usually say it makes 10 servings, and that's because this saves some work on some math you'll have to do later, but it's totally arbitrary. Click the arrow and then start adding your ingredients. When you add the ingredient, you can use the barcode scanner at the bottom, or you can start searching for your foods. If it's time to use your recipe, then you can go to Add Food, you can click on Recipes, and you can select the recipe. And then you want to tell it how many servings you used. Maybe it was 1, 1.5, or whatever. The trickiest part of all of this is, how do you determine a serving size? And when it comes to determining the serving size, you need to take into account the cooking water that you added and that left your food through evaporation. So let's say I made this recipe. I would put in all of the components and then I would cook it in a pressure cooker with a certain amount of water. I've weighed the potato, I've put in the cups or grams or whatever of the rice and lentils. If there were really low calorie vegetables, maybe I put in some broccoli or some kale and it contributed 4 calories per serving. I'll probably ignore that totally. If I'm going to put in carrots or something else with more calories, I'll count that. That count goes to the total amount of calories in the recipe. You're going to cook that, you're going to add water that has no calories to it. Then after the cooking, some of that water has evaporated, some of it has absorbed into the food. What I do is I chill the cooked food and then I weigh it at the end. Let's say that it comes out to 1,500 grams. If it comes out to 1,500 grams with the final water weight, and I told MyFitnessPal that there were 10 servings in this batch, then I simply divide 1,500 grams by 10 to come to the conclusion that one serving is 150 grams. I'll write that down somewhere, put it on my refrigerator, and then when I use the food, I'll take it out and I'll weigh it. If I weigh 300 grams out, I'll tell MyFitnessPal that I'm eating 2 servings. Now, the reports that I use are very simple. I go to More in the bottom right and I go to Nutrition. Once in Nutrition, let's go to yesterday. I look at how many calories did I eat. I look at what did I eat for carbohydrates, fat, and protein. It's on macros at the top, but I can switch it over to calories, and that's where it tells me my total calories were 2147, and my macros, I reached 137 grams of protein, which is pretty close to whatever my target was. And there's lots of other things that you can do with MyFitnessPal, but these are the essential things to developing a good weight loss program to make sure you're eating the right amount of calories and the right amount of protein to meet your daily target. All right, I hope you found this useful. Signing off, this is Chris Masterjohn of chrismasterjohnphd.com. You've been watching Chris Masterjohn Lite, and I will see you in the next video.